Hello everyone, this is the Traditionalist, and today I will be continuing my series on the end times. And so now I will be beginning part 3, and starting from here to the end of the series, whenever that will be, I will be going over the chapters of Revelation, since obviously Revelation is the book that covers, what the end times are going to be like the most. All right, so we're going to start with Revelation 6. It says, I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come!" I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. When the Lamb opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd living creature say, "Come!" Then another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth and to make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword. When the Lamb opened the 3rd seal, I heard the living creature say, "Come!" I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hand. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the 4 living creatures, saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine. When the Lamb opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, "Come!" I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following closely behind him. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. When he opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain because of the word of God and the testimony they had maintained. They called out in a loud voice, "How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" Then each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer, till the full number of their fellow servants, their brothers and sisters, were killed just as they had been. I watched as he opened the 6th seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to the earth as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. Heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and the rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of the wrath has come, and who can withstand it?" So, what do we learn? This is all prophecy, although, in the first video and somewhat in the second video, some of these things have passed. All of this here hasn't passed and is coming to the future, but it is still important to note about this because this kind of stuff will happen. Now, of course, this sounds fantastical, it sounds unreal, and it sounds ridiculous, but the entire book of Revelation does have a lot of metaphors to explain, things that will happen, and so we have to understand what this actually means. So, as you can see, there are 6 seals which the Lamb opens, and the Lamb is Jesus, and the seals are basically him releasing certain things into the earth. And so the first ones are, 4 horses, and they are often known as the 4 horses of the apocalypse. And so the first one is a white horse, second one is a red horse, third one is a black horse, and the 4th one is a pale horse. And basically, as you can tell from the name, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, all of these are representatives of disasters that will come on the earth at the end time. So no, it doesn't mean that there will literally be 4 horses coming from heaven to destroy the earth. But what it means is that at the end, during the end times, that basically a lot of disasters will come upon the earth and a lot of people will die. And so, the first one is basically warfare. The first 2 actually are about warfare. Then the third one is about famine, and the 4th one is about death. And so it says a quarter of the earth will be killed by sword, famine, and plague. And so what this means is that, at the very end, just when things get really bad before God comes back, is that there will be a huge amount of disasters. wars, famines, and plagues, and that will kill 1/4 of the people. And so that is what this last one, the pale horse of death, represents. And so, if ever we're alive during this time, we need to know this, that it doesn't mean that the world will completely end, but it does mean that the Lord is coming soon. And so then later on we get to the fifth seal, and that is the blood of the martyrs. And so basically what happens, as we can see, is the martyrs are asking God, how long until you avenge us for having been killed? But they're each given a white robe, and a white robe represents purity. And so, as is mentioned many other times in the Bible, the greatest thing you can do is die for God. And so this is a way of saying that indeed they will be in heaven and God will crown them with righteousness. But he says they'll have to wait a little longer until all the other martyrs die, and then God will come back. And then, with the sixth seal, it says there will be a great earthquake, the sun will turn black, and the moon will turn red, and the skies will fall to the earth. Now, to be honest, I can't completely explain this, because for me it's just hard to imagine how this will happen. Not in the sense I don't believe it, but I just don't know how this will actually play out. But clearly there will be an absolutely world-size and probably universe-sized disaster, and almost everything will collapse. And everyone, as it says, the powerful and the weak, will all try to hide in the mountains and the rocks and just anywhere and try to just flee from this, because for them this will be terrifying. But all of this is stuff that is going to be happening at the end, and so that is something that we need to be aware of. Okay, anyways, that's all. Thanks for watching.